Are you tired of feeling like you're wearing a mask at work? This episode of the Merging Life and Money Show with Marie Jo Caesar explores the hidden costs of code switching for minority professionals. Discover how constant adaptation affects your finances and mental health and learn strategies for authentic success. Join financial wellness strategist Marie Jo Caesar as she shares insights on balancing cultural identity with career advancement. Don't miss this eye-opening discussion on professional authenticity and workplace diversity. Tune in now to unlock your true potential.
Hello and welcome to the Merging Life and Money Show. I am Marie Jo Caesar, your host and financial wellness strategist. As someone who has spent decades in the C-suite of the financial industry, a space that remains predominantly white and male, I bring a unique perspective to our discussion today. As we wrap up our special series for National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, we are tackling a crucial topic that resonates with many minorities in their professional and personal lives. Code switching costs, the financial and mental toll on minorities. Have you ever felt pressure to alter your entire persona each time you enter your workplace or a business meeting to fit in? Now, consider the mental and financial toll of this constant transformation. This is a reality for many minority professionals engaging in code switching. Recent studies reveal that approximately 35% of Black employees adjust their language, tone, and appearance to align with their work environment. This is nearly 3 times the rate of their white colleagues. Even more concerning, almost 40% of Black workers believe ceasing this practice would harm their careers. In our previous episodes, we discussed generational wealth, breaking financial barriers, and managing race-related financial anxiety. Today, we will build on those foundations to examine the hidden costs of constantly adapting oneself in professional settings. We will explore strategies for authenticity while still advancing professionally and discuss ways to foster environments where such adjustments are unnecessary. By the end of our discussion, you will have practical tools to assess the costs of code switching in your own life and strategies to promote both financial and mental well-being while staying true to yourself. Welcome to the Merging Life and Money Show. As we explore the complexities of code switching, we will examine how this phenomenon manifests in professional settings, shaping the experiences of minority individuals as they navigate their careers. This brings us to our first main point, understanding code switching in professional settings. Code switching is more than just a linguistic phenomenon. It is a survival strategy that has deep roots in the history of marginalized communities. In professional context, it refers to the practice of altering one's speech, behavior, appearance, or cultural expression to fit into the dominant culture of the workplace. This practice is particularly prevalent among minority professionals who often feel pressured to conform to predominantly white corporate norms. To truly grasp the concept of code switching, we must first understand its historical context. The term code switching originated in linguistics, describing how bilingual or multilingual individuals alter between languages in conversation. However, its application in social professional contexts has evolved to encompass a broader range of behavioral and cultural adjustments. For minority communities in the United States, code switching has been a necessary skill for generations. During the era of slavery and segregation, African Americans developed the ability to switch between dialects and behaviors as a means of survival when interacting with white people in positions of power. These individuals had to learn to communicate in ways that would not provoke punishment from slave owners while maintaining their own cultural identities in private. This practice continued through the civil rights era and into the present day, adapting to America's changing landscape of racial dynamics. In our previous episode on breaking financial barriers in minority cultures, we discussed how cultural background shapes our relationship with money. Code switching in professional settings is a direct extension of this concept as individuals navigate the intersection of their cultural identity and the corporate world. The prevalence of code switching among minority professionals is staggering. A study by the Pew Research Center found that 48% of Black adults say that they change the way they express themselves when they are around people of other races. This percentage increases to 55% for Black adults with at least a bachelor's degree, indicating that higher education and professional advancement often come with increased pressure to code switch. For many minority professionals, code switching begins before they even step in the office. It starts with decisions about appearance, how to style their hair, what clothes to wear, and even how to modulate their voice. A 2019 study published in the journal Social, Psychological, and Personality Science found that Black job seekers often engage in resume whitening, removing racial cues from their resumes to avoid discrimination. The study revealed that 31% of Black respondents and 40% of Asian respondents reported engaging in this practice. Once in the workplace, code switching manifests in various ways. It might involve adjusting one's speech patterns, avoiding cultural references that might be unfamiliar to colleagues, or even changing one's name to something more mainstream. A 2016 study by researchers at the University of Toronto and Stanford found that 40% of Black employees feel it is never acceptable to express their true selves at work. The reasons for code switching in professional settings are complex and multifaceted. At its core, it is often a strategy for advancement and acceptance in environments where the default culture is white and Western. Many minority professionals feel that code switching must be taken seriously to avoid stereotypes and increase their chances of career progression. However, the prevalence of code switching also speaks to the persistent lack of diversity and inclusion in many professional environments. Despite efforts to increase diversity in the workplace, many industries remain predominantly white, especially at higher management levels. According to a 2021 report by McKinsey and Company, while the representation of ethnic minorities in entry-level corporate jobs has increased, representation at the C-suite level remains disproportionately low. For instance, Black employees make up 14% of all employees, but only 4% of C-suite positions. And while overt discrimination is less common, subtle biases and microaggressions persist in many workplaces. A 2021 survey by Glassdoor found that 40% of US workers have experienced or witnessed racism at work. In this context, code switching continues to be a strategy for navigating these challenging environments. This lack of representation creates an environment where minority professionals often feel like outsiders, leading to increased pressure to conform through code switching. It is a cycle that perpetuates itself. The lack of diversity at higher levels means fewer role models and mentors for minority professionals, which in turn can make code switching feel like the only path to success. The impact of constant code switching on minority professionals can be significant. Many report feeling exhausted by the constant need to monitor and adjust their behavior. This cultural taxation, as it is sometimes called, can lead to increased stress, reduced job satisfaction, and even health problems. A study published in the Academy of Management Journal found that employees who feel they cannot be themselves at work are more likely to experience burnout and are at higher risk of leaving their jobs. This relates to our discussion in last week's episode about race-related anxiety in professional settings. The stress of code switching can compound this anxiety, leading to burnout and decreased job satisfaction. Furthermore, code switching can create a sense of internal conflict and identity strain. Many professionals report feeling like they are living a double life with their work self being distinctly separate from their real self. This disconnect can lead to feelings of inauthenticity and can negatively impact mental health and overall well-being. It is important to note that while code switching is often seen as a necessary evil, it is not without its critics. Some argue that by conforming to dominant cultural norms, minority professionals are inadvertently perpetuating the very systems of inequality they are trying to navigate. Others point out that code switching can reinforce harmful stereotypes about what constitutes professional behavior, often rooted in white Western norms. However, many minority professionals view code switching as a valuable skill that allows them to navigate different cultural contexts successfully. They see it as a form of cultural fluency that can be an asset in an increasingly diverse global workforce. The key, many argue, is to find a balance between adapting to professional norms and maintaining one's authentic cultural identity. A study published in the Harvard Business Review found that minorities who effectively code switch are often viewed as more professional and are more likely to be promoted. The sad part is that code switching is not always a conscious choice. Many professionals have internalized these behaviors after years of practice to the point where they might not even realize they are doing it. As we consider the prevalence and impact of code switching, we must also recognize that this practice is not limited to racial and ethnic minorities. LGBTQ plus individuals, people from working class backgrounds, and others who do not fit the dominant cultural norm may also engage in code switching. Understanding code switching is the first step in addressing its costs and working for more inclusive professional environments. By recognizing the prevalence of code switching and its historical context, we can begin to question whether this adaptation should be necessary in truly inclusive workplaces. In our next segment, we will address financial implications of code switching, exploring both the potential benefits and the hidden costs of this practice. Now that we have explored the concept of code switching and its prevalence in professional settings, let's examine how this practice impacts the financial lives of minorities. This leads us to our second main point, the financial implications of code switching. While altering one's behavior to fit into dominant cultural norms may seem primarily social and psychological, it carries significant financial consequences, ranging from immediate costs to long-term effects on wealth accumulation, mental health, and career advancement. These hidden costs may not be immediately apparent, but can accumulate over time. Let us begin by examining the potential positive financial outcomes of effective code switching. The first one is career advancement and income potential. A study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that employees who demonstrated cultural adaptability were 60% more likely to receive promotions within a 2-year period compared to those who did not. This increased likelihood of promotion can translate directly into higher income. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the median weekly earning for management occupations in 2021 were $1,559 compared to $939 for all occupations. For minority professionals who successfully code switch their way into management position, this could represent a significant financial gain. Furthermore, the cumulative effect of these promotions over a career can be substantial. Let's say a professional who receives regular promotions due to their ability to fit in with dominant corporate culture could potentially earn hundreds of thousands of dollars more over their lifetime compared to someone who struggles to adapt. The next one is networking and business opportunities. Effective code switching can also lead to improved networking opportunities. In many industries, informal networks play a crucial role in career advancement and business development. The ability to seamlessly interact with colleagues and superiors from different cultural backgrounds can open doors to valuable connections and opportunities. A 2019 survey by LinkedIn found that 85% of jobs are filled through networking. For minority professionals who can effectively code switch, this could mean access to a wider range of job opportunities and potentially higher paying positions. And the last one I identified is client relationships and business development. In client-facing roles, the ability to adapt one's communication style can be particularly valuable. Professionals who can effectively code switch may find it easier to build rapport with a diverse range of clients, potentially leading to increased salaries, better client retention, and higher commissions or bonuses. On that, I will say that while these potential financial benefits are significant, we must consider the hidden costs and long-term financial implications of constant code switching. Here are 9 of them. Mental health expenses. The stress of continually altering one's behavior and suppressing one's authentic self can take a significant toll on mental health. This stress can manifest in various ways, including anxiety, depression, and burnout. According to the American Psychological Association, chronic stress can lead to or exacerbate a range of health problems, including heart disease, diabetes, and autoimmune disorders. The financial implications of these health issues can be substantial. A 2015 study published in the journal Health Affairs estimated that the average cost of treatment for depression was $10,836 per person annually. For anxiety disorder, the cost was $9,465. These figures do not include indirect costs such as lost productivity or reduced earning potential due to mental health challenges. Another one is reduced productivity and earning potential. The energy expended on code switching can lead to mental fatigue and reduced productivity. A study published in the Academy of Management Journal found that employees who felt they had to suppress their true selves at work reported high levels of emotional exhaustion and were more likely to consider leaving their jobs. This reduced productivity and increased turnover can have direct financial consequences. The Society for Human Resource Management estimates that the cost of replacing an employee can range from 50 to 200% of their annual salary. For a professional earning $100,000 per year, for example, this could represent a cost of $50,000 to $200,000 to their employer, costs that often translate into reduced opportunities for raises or promotion. Investment in professional appearance. Code switching often extends beyond behavior to physical appearance. Many minority professionals feel pressure to conform to Eurocentric standards of dress and grooming. This can result in significant expenses for clothing, hair care, and other aspects of personal presentation, as mentioned a few moments ago. For example, a 2019 study by Duke University's Fuqua School of Business found that Black women with natural hairstyles were perceived as less professional and less competent than those with straightened hair. The pressure to conform to these standards can lead to substantial ongoing expenses. Professional hair straightening treatments can cost anywhere from $50 to $300 per session, with some women reporting spending over $5,000 per year on hair care to maintain a professional appearance. Education and training expenses. Some minority professionals invest in additional education or training to help them navigate dominant culture norms more effectively. This might include accent reduction classes, executive presence coaching, or cultural adaptation seminars. While these investments may lead to career advancement, they represent an additional financial burden that their non-minority colleagues may not face. Opportunity costs. Perhaps one of the most significant hidden costs of code switching is the opportunity cost of not pursuing career paths or business opportunities that align more closely with one's authentic self. Professionals who constantly adapt to fit into specific cultural norms may miss out on innovative ideas or unique perspectives that could have led to groundbreaking business opportunities of career advancements. Long-term wealth accumulation. The cumulative effect of these various costs can significantly impact long-term wealth accumulation. While effective code switching may lead to higher salaries in the short term, the mental health toll, reduced productivity, and additional expenses can erode these gains over time. Consider, for example, the impact on retirement savings. If a professional spends an extra $5,000 per year on expenses related to code switching, for example, hair care, clothing, additional training, that is $5,000 less that could be invested for retirement. Over a 30-year career, assuming a 7% annual return, this could represent a loss of over $500,000 in retirement savings. Intergenerational wealth transfer. In our first episode of this series, we discussed the importance of generational wealth in minority communities. The financial costs of code switching can have ripple effects that impact not just the individual, but also their ability to build and transfer wealth to future generations. For example, the mental health toll of constant code switching might lead to early retirement or reduced earning years. This could limit an individual's ability to save for their children's education or to leave an inheritance. Given that the median white family has 8 times the wealth of the median Black family, according to a 2019 Federal Reserve survey, early factors that hinder wealth accumulation in minority communities can have significant long-term consequences. Entrepreneurship and innovation. Code switching can also impact important entrepreneurship rates among minority communities. The pressure to conform to dominant cultural norms may discourage some individuals from pursuing innovative business ideas based on their unique cultural perspectives. This will present a loss not just for the individual involved, but for the broader economy that misses out on diverse sources of innovation. A 2020 report by the Kaufman Foundation found that while the rate of new entrepreneur is higher among some minority groups, 0.38% for Latinos and 0.35% for Asian, compared to 0.31% for whites, Black Americans lag behind at 0.24%. So while many factors contribute to this disparity, the pressures of code switching and conforming to dominant business cultures may play a role. And the last hidden cost I'm going to talk about today is cultural capital. Finally, we must consider the potential loss of cultural capital that can occur through constant code switching. Cultural capital refers to non-financial social assets that can promote social mobility. This might include cultural knowledge, skills, education, or advantages that a person has, which give them a higher status in society. So while code switching can help individuals navigate dominant cultures, it can also lead to a disconnection from one's cultural background. This can represent a significant loss, both personally and professionally. In an increasingly globalized business world, unique cultural perspectives can be valuable assets. By constantly adapting to dominant norms, professionals may be undervaluing or underutilizing their own cultural capital.
You're listening to the Merging Life and Money Show with Marie-Jo Caesar. Are you enjoying this episode on code switching and its impact on your career? If you want more insights on financial wellness and authentic professional growth, visit Marie-Jo's website at www.mariejocaesar.com. There, you can download her free code switching reflection journal and access a wealth of resources to help you thrive in your career while staying true to yourself. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast for more game-changing episodes on merging your financial and personal well-being. Now, back to Marie-Jo and her discussion on breaking the code switching cycle.
As we consider these various financial implications, it becomes clear that the cost of code switching extend far beyond the immediate stress or discomfort of altering one's behavior. The practice carries with it a complex set of financial trade-offs that can have long-lasting impacts on an individual's economic well-being and ability to build wealth. Minority professionals must know this potential cost as they navigate their careers. While code switching may sometimes be necessary or advantageous, weighing the potential benefits against the long-term costs is important. Additionally, organizations need to recognize the hidden toll that pressures to conform can take on their minority employees. They should create more inclusive environments where diverse lifestyles are truly valued and celebrated. Now, in our next segment, we will explore strategies for managing the mental health impact of constant code switching, addressing how the psychological toll of this practice can further compound its financial implications. By understanding both the financial and mental health aspects of code switching, we can begin to develop more holistic strategies for professional success and personal well-being in diverse work environments. As we have explored the financial implication of code switching, it becomes evident that this practice affects mental health and overall well-being. This brings us to our third and final main point, the mental health impact of constant code switching. The psychological toll of continuously altering one's behavior and self-presentation can be profound, affecting not only an individual well-being, but also their professional performance and long-term career trajectory. Let's look at the various ways in which constant code switching can impact mental health. I will talk about 10 of them. Let's start with stress and anxiety from maintaining multiple personas. The act of code switching requires constant vigilance and self-monitoring. Minority professionals must continuously assess their environment, determine the appropriate behavior, and adjust accordingly. This ongoing mental effort can lead to chronic stress and anxiety. In fact, a 2019 study published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology found that individuals engaged in frequent code switching reported higher level of anxiety and emotional exhaustion. When individuals engage in code switching, they essentially compartmentalize aspects of their identity to fit different contexts. This constant shifting can lead to what psychologists call identity strain, a state of psychological tension resulting from the effort to reconcile different aspects of one's identity. Moreover, the fear of slipping up, of revealing one's authentic self in professional settings can create a persistent state of anxiety. This anxiety can manifest in physical symptoms such as headaches, digestive issues, and sleep disturbances. The American Psychological Association reports that chronic stress can lead to or exacerbate a range of health problems, including cardiovascular diseases, obesity, and autoimmune disorders. The second way is identity conflict and imposter syndrome. Constant code switching can lead to a fragmenting sense of self, where individuals feel they are presenting different versions of themselves in different contexts. This can result in identity conflict, where professionals struggle to reconcile their authentic selves with the personas they adopt in the workplace. This identity conflict often manifests as imposter syndrome, a psychological pattern in which individuals doubt their accomplishments and have a persistent fear of being exposed as a fraud. While imposter syndrome can affect anyone, research suggests it is particularly prevalent among minority professionals. A 2020 study by KPMG found that 75% of executive women have experienced imposter syndrome in their careers. This percentage was even higher among women of color. The study also found that these feelings of self-doubt and fraudulence were often exacerbated by the pressure to conform with dominant culture norms in the workplace. The mental health implications of imposter syndrome can be severe. Individuals may experience chronic self-doubt and insecurity, anxiety and depression, perfectionism, and overworking, difficulty accepting praise or recognition, reluctance to seek promotions or new opportunities. These effects can create a self-perpetuating cycle where the stress of code switching fuels imposter syndrome, which in turn increases the perceived need to code switch, leading to further stress, self-doubt, and depression. Third is emotional labor and its long-term effects. Code switching requires significant emotional labor, the process of managing one's emotions to meet the expectations of a work environment. Sociologist Arlie Hochschild first introduced this concept, which is particularly relevant to the experience of minority professionals engaged in code switching. Emotional labor involves suppressing one's true feelings and presenting emotions that are deemed appropriate for the workplace. For minority professionals, This often means suppressing reactions to microaggressions, maintaining a calm demeanor in the face of bias, or presenting a consistently upbeat and agreeable persona to counteract those negative stereotypes. The long-term effects of this emotional labor can be substantial. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology found that surface acting, right, pretending to feel emotions one does not actually experience, was associated with higher level of emotional exhaustion and job dissatisfaction. Over time, the constant suppression of authentic emotions can lead to emotional numbness or detachment, difficulty expressing emotions in personal relationships, increased risk of burnout and depression, psychosomatic symptoms such as headaches or gastrointestinal issues. It is important to note that the emotional labor required for code switching is not evenly distributed. A 2019 study by McKinsey and Company found that women of color were more likely than other groups to report needing to constantly prove their workplace competence. This additional burden of emotional labor can compound the mental health effects of code switching. Fourth, burnout and job satisfaction. The cumulative effect of stress, identity conflict, and emotional labor can lead to professional burnout. The World Health Organization defines burnout as a syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress that has not been successfully managed. It is characterized by feelings of energy depletion or exhaustion, increased mental distance from one's job, or feeling of negativism or cynicism related to one's job, and reduced professional efficacy. For minority professionals engaged in constant code switching, the risk of burnout is particularly high. A 2020 survey by Slack found that Black and Hispanic workers reported higher levels of burnout than their white colleagues. While multiple factors contribute to this disparity, the additional mental and emotional effort required for code switching likely plays a significant role. Burnout can have severe consequences for both mental health and career progression. It can lead to decreased job performance and productivity, higher rates of absenteeism, increased risk of physical health problems, higher likelihood of leaving one's job or profession. The impact on job satisfaction is equally significant. When professionals cannot bring their authentic selves to work, it can lead to a profound sense of disconnection from their jobs. This disconnection can manifest as reduced engagement, lower creativity, and a diminished sense of purpose in one's work. Fifth, internalized racism and self-esteem. Constant code switching can reinforce harmful stereotypes and contribute to internalized racism. When minority professionals consistently alter their behavior to fit dominant cultural norms, it can implicitly validate the idea that their natural way of being is somehow inferior or unprofessional. This internalization of negative stereotypes can have devastating effects on one's self-esteem and mental health. A 2018 study published in the American Journal of Orthopsychiatry found that internalized racism was associated with increased psychological distress, decreased self-esteem, and higher rates of depressive symptoms among African American young adults. The long-term mental health implications of internalized racism can include chronic feelings of inferiority or self-doubt, difficulty forming positive racial identity, increased vulnerability to anxiety and depression, and self-sabotaging behaviors in personal and professional contexts. 6, social isolation and relationship strain. The pressure to code switch can also impact social relationships, both within and outside the workplace. Within the professional environment, constant adaptation can make it difficult to form genuine connections with colleagues. Minority professionals may feel unable to truly relax or be themselves, leading to a sense of isolation, even in social work setting. Outside work, the habit of code switching can spill over into personal relationships. Individuals may struggle to switch off the professional persona they have cultivated, leading to feelings of fraud or deception in personal interactions. This can strain relationships with family and friends, particularly if they perceive the individual as having changed or distanced themselves from their cultural roots. In fact, a 2021 study published in the Journal of Vocational Behavior found that employees who reported higher levels of fakeness, if there is such a word, or pretension at work, also reported lower relationship satisfaction and high levels of work-family conflict. For minority professionals engaging in frequent code switching, this risk of relationship strain may be particularly pronounced. Seventh, cognitive load and decision fatigue. The constant mental effort required for code switching can increase cognitive load and decision fatigue. Every interaction becomes an opportunity for analysis and adjustment, taxing mental resources that could otherwise be directed to job performance or creative problem solving. Research in cognitive psychology has shown that decision-making ability declines after a long period of mental exertion. For professionals engaged in constant code switching, this could mean decreased performance in critical job functions, particularly near the end of the workday or work week. This cognitive drain can have cascading effects on mental health and job performance, such as increased likelihood of mistakes or poor decisions, difficulty concentrating on complex tasks, reduced capacity for emotional regulation, heightened irritability, and stress reactivity. 8, trauma and microaggressions. For many minority professionals, code switching is not just about fitting in. It's a strategy for avoiding or mitigating the impact of microaggressions and discriminatory behavior. However, the hypervigilance required to navigate these potentially traumatic interactions can itself be a source of ongoing stress and anxiety. The cumulative effect of repeated microaggressions, even when successfully navigated through code switching, can lead to racial battle fatigue. This concept, introduced by sociologist William A. Smith, described the psychological toll of coping with ongoing racial stresses. Symptoms of racial battle fatigue can include anxiety and worry, anger and resentment, physical symptoms such as headache and high blood pressure, difficulty sleeping, and social withdrawal. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Counseling Psychology found that experiences of racial microaggressions were associated with increased symptoms of depression and anxiety among Black Americans. The study also found that these effects were partially mediated by racial identity, highlighting the complex interplay between code switching, identity, and mental health. 9th, impact on creativity and innovation. The mental energy expended on code switching can also impact creativity and innovation. When individuals are constantly focused on conforming to expected norms, they may have less cognitive capacity for creative thinking and problem solving. Also, suppressing one's authentic self can stifle the unique perspectives and ideas that diversity is meant to bring to the workplace. A 2018 study by Boston Consulting Group found that companies with above average diversity on their management teams reported innovation revenue 19% points higher than companies with below average leadership diversity. However, this benefit can only be realized if diverse employees feel empowered to bring their authentic selves and unique perspective to their work. And 10th, long-term mental consequences. The cumulative effect of these various mental health impacts can be substantial and long-lasting. Chronic stress, persistent anxiety, and ongoing identity conflict can increase the risk of more severe mental health conditions over time. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Racial and Ethnic Health Disparities found that perceived discrimination was associated with an increased risk of both depression and anxiety disorders among racial and ethnic minorities. While code switching is often employed as a strategy to avoid discrimination, the psychological toll of this constant adaptation may surprisingly increase vulnerability to mental health challenges. As we consider these profound mental health implications, it becomes clear that the costs of code switching extend far beyond the immediate discomfort of altering one's behavior. The practice carries with it a complex set of psychological burdens that can significantly impact an individual's well-being, job performance, and overall quality of life. It is critical for both minority professionals and organizations to recognize these potential mental health costs. So while code switching may sometimes feel necessary for career advancements, the long-term psychological toll can ultimately hinder professional success and personal fulfillment. And as we wrap up this important episode, let me bring together what we discussed today. And I do apologize. It is a long episode, but I had to research it and I had to bring those things to light, having experienced some of it through my years in corporate. Let's bring together the thread of our discussion and examine how the financial and mental health impacts of code switching intersect, and explore strategies for navigating professional environments in ways that support both career success and personal well-being. By understanding these complex dynamics, we can begin to envision and create work environments that value authenticity and diversity, reducing the need for code switching and fostering true inclusion. As we bring our discussion on code switching costs to a close, let's reflect on the journey we've taken throughout this series on minority mental health and financial wellness. We began by examining generational wealth and healing, then explored breaking barriers in finance and mental health. Last week, we addressed the intersection of race, finance, and anxiety. And today, we have uncovered the hidden costs of code switching, both financial and psychological. In contemplating this balance, I am reminded of Ralph Waldo Emerson's words: to be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. This profound statement sums up the challenge faced by many minority professionals engaged in code switching. It highlights the importance of striving for authenticity, even in the face of pressure to conform. With this knowledge, we are now equipped to do better. We understand that while code switching may sometimes feel necessary, its costs can be substantial. A study by the Center for Talent Innovation found that 37% of African Americans and Hispanics feel they need to compromise their authenticity to conform to their company's standards of professionalism. As we move forward, the challenge lies in creating professional environments where such compromises are unnecessary. This requires effort from both individuals and organizations. For minority professionals, it means finding ways to bring more of their authentic self to work while still navigating career advancement. For organizations, it means fostering truly inclusive cultures that value diverse perspectives and ways of being. Now that we've explored the complex dynamics of code switching, it is time to turn our insights into action. I invite each of you to take a meaningful step concerning authenticity and well-being in your professional lives. To support you in this journey, I've created a complementary resource, the Code Switching Reflection Journal. This journal is designed to help you track your code switching experiences, identify triggers, and assess the personal costs and benefits of this practice in your daily life. I encourage you to download this journal from our website, www.maryjocida.com. Take time this week to complete the authenticity audit exercise within the journal. This exercise will guide you through examining various aspects of your professional persona, helping you identify areas where you might be compromising your authentic self and offering strategies to bring more of your true self to work. Additionally, I invite you to share your experiences and insights on social media using the hashtag Merging Life and Money. By sharing our stories, we process our own experiences and contribute to a broader dialogue on creating more inclusive work environments. As we conclude this important discussion on code switching and its impact, let us look ahead to the future with hope and determination. Your engagement with this critical topic has been invaluable, and I am grateful for your continued support of the Merging Life and Money Show. As we close this chapter, I'm excited to announce that next week, we will be celebrating National Black Business Month. We will explore the triumphs, challenges, and opportunities for Black entrepreneurs and business owners. I hope you will join us in these significant discussions as we continue our financial empowerment and holistic well-being journey. Thank you for being part of the Merging Life and Money community. Together, we are building a future of financial success and emotional well-being for all. Until next Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, take care of your finances and mental health and continue merging life and money. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning in to the Merging Life and Money Show with Marie-Jo Caesar. If you found value in today's discussion on code switching and authentic professional success, please share this episode with a friend or colleague who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us create content that serves you better. For more resources on financial wellness and holistic career development, visit www.mariejocesar.com. Join us next week as we continue our journey to financial empowerment and personal authenticity. Until then, keep merging life and money for a more fulfilling future. Thanks for tuning in to the Merging Life and Money Show with Marie-Jo Caesar. If you found value in today's discussion on code switching and authentic professional success, please share this episode with a friend or colleague who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your feedback helps us create content that serves you better. For more resources on financial wellness and holistic career development, visit www.mariejocesar.com. Join us next week as we continue our journey to financial empowerment and personal authenticity. Until then, keep merging life and money for a more fulfilling future.